Hey, good evening, everybody. And I've had a request, so I'm fulfilling it. I've had a request to show first all of my sewing machine and how to thread them, which I can't really do that because I have so many of them, but I can show. And the thing about sewing machines is everybody think it's like some big secret how to thread them. They're basically all the same with a little tweak here and there as far as a thread guide. So with that, they're pretty much the same, a little bit different occasionally, but over the years, they all do this. So they do. They make stitches as long as they're working right. They make stitches. So, and that's how you thread it. So, and that's part of it. Of course, the needle's another big part of it. If you have a bent needle, forget it. You're not going to get a stitch. I have in front of me. I have a Nechi, which is a 361L, and it's a very colorful machine to say the least. And then I have my desk model Kenmore with a knee pedal. The power pedal is not with your foot; you use your knee. And it's good and bad in some cases. I like it because of control over the speed of the way the machine runs. Sometimes with a foot pedal, your foot gets tired, and you'll tend to you like step on it, like you're putting your pedal to the metal, so to speak, and then it can mess up if you're doing something kind of intricate. So it's all your preference. I like the knee pedal because that's kind of what I grew up with, except my mom did have a tabletop one. Now this Nichi is a case. It's a portable, what they call a portable vintage, and so it has a case that goes with it. I took it out of the case base so that I could sit it on my table and use it out on the table. That's good. That has good and bad things with it. Um, the good part is that it's portable. You can put it in the case, carry it to wherever you're going. Say you have a family member or friend that needs an alteration real quick, needs something hemmed, and so you just pack it up, take it with you. Has a carrying handle. That's why it's portable. Um, but the drawback is you don't have a free arm. So if you're going to be doing pant legs with this type of vintage, it's not as user friendly for things like that. I do have the one is a has a free arm. It's a more modern one. It's a Husqvarna, and it's a Husqvarna E20 is the model number. The Kenmore is 158616540, I believe is the number on it. So we'll start out with the pretty one, the Nechi. Nechi has multiple stitches. To thread this Nechi, what's really cool with this one, you can use a double needle on any machine that has two thread posts. There are spool posts right there. What you want to be careful with is when you set it on the table, you take it out of the case and you're using it as a portable model, put the handle back, then pull up your thread post, put your thread on it. That way you're not breaking these. I mean, I've gotten a machine like this where it was broken because someone didn't pay attention to that. When you use a double needle, you would have a spool thread on both of these. I love that feature, and the reason is it has decorative stitches built into the Nechi, and that's because you can use the double needle on it. I haven't done that yet on this machine, but I'm dying to do it. So we're going to thread this, and I'm going to turn the camera around here just a little bit and kind of show you. I do apologize for my attire. I've been very casual today. It's very warm here in Georgia, and I'm warm-blooded, so I have to dress as cool as possible. When you put your thread on your machine, any machine, you want your thread to unwind away from you. The reason why you want to do that is when you first buy a spool of thread, and you can't see on this one, I don't think. It's very, very faint, but there's a notched out portion when you buy it. It has the little cute label on the top and the bottom. I tear them off. I can't stand it. That way I can see where that little notch is. That holds that last edge of the thread when they're finished winding it on the spool. You do not want this on the bottom this way, because basically it's kind of like a cut off hook, and it will snap your thread like that, and then you're going to be wondering why did the thread just break? That's why. So when you put this, it's unwinding away. Well, this thread's a little different, but so there's a thread guide here, and it goes from the spool through that thread guide. This little round thing right here, and that's on any machine. When you have this little round guy here, that's for winding your bobbin. And your thread will go, you have an X going towards where the bobbin goes. So if I were going to wind a bobbin on this, I would go to that little circular wheel, so to speak, go under it, go around to the back, come around, wind this on my bobbin, and then wind my bobbin. So that's how I would do that. Now, since we're not winding a bobbin, we're just threading the machine, we're going to put, I'm going to get this extra thread out of here. And so I can thread it the right way. Thread it through the thread guide. And this one's got a tension disc on this side instead of the left side. So the thread goes down this side first, past the tension disc, this way. So you're going to, this one actually, I forgot. This model has a thread guide on the back side. It's, I'll turn it around so you can see it. See the thread guide? You go through there. I had a request to know how to thread these machines, so that's why I'm doing this really quick. So it goes through the first thread guide here. The one in the back of this machine allows it to come forward. Your tension disc, this is for your top tension, comes down. And then you have this metal piece here. I don't have it plugged in to show the light. And comes up, just like any other machine. You have this arm through the hole. This one, you just wiggle it in. Comes back down. Below, there is a thread guide at the bottom. I can get it to go through that one. And then there's one right before the needle. Okay, there's a thread guide in here. Most machines will have it. Right before the needle, you put it through that thread guide and then through the needle and to the back. Always put your thread to the back. That's the nechi. And I take that off. It goes down so I don't break it. And that's that one. Now you're going to see the similarities in these machines. This is the desk model Kenmore. Same thing, thread on the back, thread guide. There's only the one on top. There's one in the front. It comes down. The tension disc on this is in the front of it. You take it to in between the two metal discs. There's a little wire here. You pull the wire up through it. I can't turn this to show you, but there is a point where you pull the thread up and it clicks, so that way, this is what makes your tension. The thread is hooked onto it. You come back up through this thread guide, and then you have the thread arm, which is this little guy here. This one does not have the slide in. It has the hole, so you have to, like threading a needle, thread through it, come down. You have a thread guide here in the front, another one at the bottom, and then the last one is right before the needle, just like the nechi. The only difference is it has that extra thread guide on the back side, and your tension is on the front, and down here in the front instead of kind of like to the side. Some machines will have the tension on the opposite, and I call those lefties. I don't know why I call them. I guess because it's on the left-hand side. The Husqvarna, to thread this Husqvarna E20, and then set your thread on there on the back side. You're going to come through. This one just has this thread guide here on the back. There's always one on the top and the back. Doesn't matter what kind of machine you have. You always go through that one. If there's an extra one, you want to go through that one first and then this one. This one, same thing. You come through the groove on this side. This is the upper tension on this machine, by the way. And it even has pictures. Some of them will have numbers. I'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Follow the numbers. Come back up. And you always have your needle at its highest point when you're putting your thread through. I just fished it through. It has a slot. You come down. There's another thread guide here. A metal thread guide there. And you're going to put it through. I'm going to put it behind it, as long as I can see it. They all thread the same. basically. One has an extra thread guide on it on the back, and that was the Nechi. That helps with that one's particular tension. That's why it's made that way. The Husqvarna, not so much. The advantage to the more modern one. So I hope this answers the commenters' questions as far as that goes. Power pedals are all going to basically be the same in function. They all kind of look this way. The knee one, which is too hard to show you with this desk model, it's a metal piece that is actually hooked to one of these. So it's a modified foot pedal. So you have a foot pedal in there, but the knee part of it that you actually use to put pressure on it to make the machine run is on a, it's like a, almost looks like a shoehorn. And this just on, they all have a certain kind of plug. If you get a machine and it's missing the plug, take a picture of the machine, make sure that the plug matches. You want to measure this way. Sometimes you have to measure between where the posts, plug into it. Sometimes you'll find one model machine, actually, their plug fits another one. Like a Kenmore fits a Husqvarna. Did you know that? Yeah, a Kenmore, modern Kenmore plug, I should say. It actually fits, or I think it's a brother. There's a couple of plugs that are exactly the same model number, but they fit different types of machines. The only difference is with the Nechi's foot pedal, because it's a vintage in the case kind, it has a different connection. It has the foot pedal, just like I just showed you, but because it was it's a vintage portable, you'll have two plugs. One is for the light and one is for the pedal. So you could leave the light off and just use the pedal. It'll work either way. All your new ones, the pedal, sometimes some of them you don't need to have the light on. Others, they won't run without it on. But that's the question to ask when you buy a sewing machine. I hope this has helped the gentleman that asked about them. And so those are 3 different kinds of machines that I can show you. And if you've seen anything in the video that's kind of like piqued your interest, if you want to know about another machine, I may have it in my collection. I just might have it. So something or a specific feature on a machine, if I've got one similar, I will do my best. But I can't make a video if you don't have comments. This is some comments of an individual that asked those questions. And I do appreciate that. Appreciate the questions, appreciate the comments, and I would definitely appreciate your subscription. So do as I say. If this is your joy and this gives you a passion to want to make things, go for it. Just keep on sewing and let me know what you would like to see on the next videos. So you want to know how to use, I got a comment, I'm sorry. I got a comment from this gentleman that wants to know how to use the electric foot pedal on the floor. That's easy. With a foot pedal, we're going to say this is on the floor. It's kind of hard to do a video with it on the floor. This is on the floor. The foot pedal and your foot. We're going to say this is my foot. This is the pedal. And when you press down, that's what gives it power. Foot, not this way, because you can't push it that way. It makes it more difficult. I mean, you could do it, but it's not good for your foot. So you want to make sure that your foot pedal is facing towards you this way, so that, say, if you're gonna use your hand, you could squeeze it like that. Your foot is going to rest where it is raised up, and your foot is just slowly going to add pressure to it as the machine gets the power to sew on your item that you're making. The harder you push on this pedal, the faster your sewing machine is going to go. So if you want to start out slow, very slight pressure, you'll hear the motor kind of like, make that noise. And then that's when you'll know you're getting there. If you're really comfortable, you've been sewing for a while, you don't have to give it that slow pressure. You want to let up on your foot pedal if you're getting ready to go around your garment that you're making, and that becomes a real problem. So Frank, I hope that answers your question, hun. I can't really demonstrate with so many, but any foot pedal, doesn't matter. If this was solid, and there are some that look like they're solid, but they're always going to be at an angle. If this was solid, it'd be and still at an angle. You want helps is to have a non-slip pad that you can put under your foot pedal. I know they sell certain pads like that just so that your foot pedal doesn't slide around under you. If you're not sliding, so to avoid the slide, I would invest in one of those foot pedal pads that's non-slip. They can be invaluable. You can even make one. I mean, some people have even taken a pad and done like Velcro on the bottom, and you're losing your power, and you're like, where'd it go? And you're looking under the desk, like, where'd my foot pedal go? So I would highly suggest that also. So I have other machines that I will get around to showing, but basically, like I said, threading a sewing machine is the same. You start with the thread, you go to the guides, and when you get a sewing machine and you have the user's manual, it will show you how to thread it. If you don't have it, there are a lot of websites have them free as a free PDF download, and I've got a bunch. I've actually had sewing machines that I have sold and made extra copies of the manual because I don't like selling a sewing machine without a manual. And sometimes they come back to me and ask me questions about the machine I just sold them. So pedals all work the same. You just have to make sure that the part that squeezes down is facing you as you're sitting. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate it. If you want to know anything else that, as you're, I don't know, I'm guessing you're a real beginner, throw me a comment anytime. I used to teach about sleeves. It was a knit, and I did a video on knits and how to do a sleeve, and she was very thankful because she said now she's not afraid to do her sleeves anymore because it helped her with some of the problems she was having. So I'm here for anybody that has questions. So Frank was brave. He asked me several questions, and I hope that I've answered a good bit of them for him. And so everybody needs to be just as brave as Frank, because if he's not bashful, why are you all being bashful? I'm here to help. I'm sharing what to do. This is my passion, and this is why all the time. And that's why I was excited. It helps me bring joy to others. I'm getting ready to alter a prom dress, as a matter of fact, because it's that time. Hit the like button, share my videos, please, and definitely subscribe. And I will see you on my next video.